Good afternoon. Can I have your attention, please? Thank you. All right, we're going to start this amazing event. My name is Sean Bianco from Capitol Public Radio, event coordinator for Symphony of 1000. Our MC for the evening is Beth Ruyak, also one of our wonderful announcers at the radio station. So we've already tuned. The cameras are rolling. So let's do it. I want to introduce Beth Ruyak. Beth?
Thank you. Welcome to the Symphony of 1000. You did it. You made it. You made it. You absolutely did it. On behalf of the Sacramento Youth Symphony, we'd like to welcome all of you to take part in today, either as an audience or a musician. And in fact, I think we should start this out with a little shout out from the Sacramento Youth Symphony musicians. Let's hear it, everybody. My name is Beth Ruyak. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. This is perhaps the biggest symphony I will ever introduce in my life and my career. And what a thrill. Thank you, everybody. Capitol Public Radio has been driven on the passion of one Mr. Sean Bianco, host of our opera night at Capitol Public Radio. And I think whatever applause you have already shared needs to be even bigger for the passion of Sean Bianco to take the vision of Maestro Michael Newman and turn it into a how to do it, because he's what helped make it happen today. Sean. Capitol Public Radio was the media sponsor, but a colleague of mine is actually in the orchestra. In the flute section, our one and only Devin Yamanaka. Devin, let us see you. Where are you? There she is, right over here, ladies and gentlemen. This is history. This is how history is made. A group of people coming together with passion. It has never been done in the history of Sacramento, but bigger than that, Sean's right. I have it on great authority that it is true. It has never been done in the history of California. So clap like this and reach over like that. Symphony of 1000 actually started as sort of a waking up at 4 a.m. dream. Maestro Michael Newman said he was sort of coming to about 2 years ago, and he had this vision of all of this happening. So audience, as you're watching your loved one, your favorite musician play, take just a moment to imagine what it must be like for him. When you wake up and you have a thought, and then you have partners like Sean and everybody else down the road and all of you that came here to turn it into words that, yes, I will commit and I will make it happen. And then the thought and the word become the deed. And today, it's the deed of making history. So think for a moment from his perspective as he looks out here and what joy it must be. Because you might think his vision created this, but he continues to tell me backstage that you're all giving him a gift. So it will be a pleasure in just a moment to welcome him. The orchestra, as you might know, is divided into 3 groups. So let's hear a little applause from our advanced musicians. And how about our intermediates? Where are you? And our beginning musicians, maybe the first concert of their lives. So all three groups will perform together first in the Anthems medley. It's listed in your program, and the melodies are coming to you from Japan and China and Spain and Germany, from South Korea and Russia, from Canada, Italy, Australia, I couldn't memorize the list, from France, Great Britain, and of course the United States. Then you'll hear from the advanced group, then you'll hear from the intermediates, then the beginners, and at the end, they will all perform together. So, this is the moment. It gives me absolute pleasure to ask you to join with me in inviting the one and only dream maker, Maestro Michael Newman.
Anthems medley. One, two, three, four. Colonel Bogey. One, two. Leon. One, two, one, two. We go now to the Stars and Stripes Forever. One, two. Thank you. Now we add to the advanced group our intermediate group who will be playing together, and we start with the Great Gate of Kiev. Pardon me?
That's good, I can get a word in.
Take it away, Beth.
Ladies and gentlemen, the artistic director of the Sacramento Youth Symphony, once again, your conductor for the afternoon, Maestro Michael Newman.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Great Gate of Kiev. 1, 2. Thank you, everybody. We go now to the Alborada from Rimsky-Korsakov. Are we having fun yet? I will be honest, I am sweating up here. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. And now we go to the New World Symphony, the fourth movement. Although I think if Dvorak was alive today, he would cringe, because this is an arrangement, but that's good. It's a nice arrangement, accessible to all those playing. So here we go. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think that maybe for every mistake somebody makes, you owe us, the Youth Symphony, 10 cents, and we'll be millionaires by tomorrow. That doesn't include me, of course. I don't make mistakes. Ha ha ha. Okay, one more piece with the two groups, and then we will add our younger group with us. So now is the Prelude to Carmen. Keep the tempo. One, two.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our advanced and intermediate musicians here today. Maestro Newman brought his baton to the Youth Symphony back in 1979, and earlier today, when we said that year, somebody in the back raised their hand. One of your original musicians is here today, isn't he?
There's probably more than one, but yeah, some people who were in the Youth Symphony back in my first year, which was 1979. So I've been with this orchestra and this organization for 36 years. So there are people here who were there with me at that time. Thank you.
I see one that looks like he might be waving a timpani mallet in the back. Anybody else? Anybody else want to give a little shout out and wave to 1979 with Maestro Newman? How about older? Somebody's. Well, you know, you do make a good point. There's a lot of loyalty here. And I don't know who the oldest musician in the crowd might be. I've heard a rumor that maybe there's a musician who is an octogenarian who has hit 80. Is there anybody here that's hit that mark?
Right here.
Ah, I can't see from where I am. Please step forward.
Stand up real quick. Stand up.
So the 1,000 musicians in this room decided to make a commitment somewhere between now and the last 6 months and got online and registered, downloaded the music, and have been rehearsing. And there was a point that Sean Bianco said to me, we have to keep mentioning this on the air. We have the core of the Youth Symphony, which is about 350, but that still leaves us with a long way to go. Hundreds, Beth. Do you know that? Do you know that means hundreds? I said, Sean, I think it'll happen. He goes, well, we have to keep talking about it. And then it went up to 450, and then it was 500. And then I got a message about 2 months ago. We have to hit it again. We're at 700, but that's not 1,000. Okay, we'll do it. And guess what? 10 days before registration closed, you all did it. You hit 1,000 on October 2nd. Congratulations. So we're about to add our beginning musicians, and beginning doesn't mean young or little, but we do need to make a nod to the young and the little in the group today. And I don't know if there is a 4-year-old, I'll ask in a moment, but I've met a couple 5-year-olds. In the front, up here, there is a 4-year-old? Younger?
She's so tiny you cannot see her. I can barely see her, and I'm up in a high position here.
Is that Valerie? I believe that's Valerie.
On the chair. Stand her
Somebody's
up on the
going to lift
chair.
her up. And she's with her 7-year-old brother, Dustin.
Bravo! Which poses the question, Beth, what were you guys doing when you were 4?
Yeah, Dustin's her chaperone. He's 7. And on the other side of Valerie is Braden, and he's 5. He's with his dad. Dad and Braden, can you wave up there? A few more worth saying hello to. Isabella, I think you're 5. Can someone help you up on your chair? Hi, Isabella. Do we have any more 5-year-olds? I don't want to miss anybody that young. Anyone else that's 5? One more? Yay! Oh. Okay. I don't know if you heard him, but he was calling out to me that he's 5.5. And I also want you to meet Jake. And Jake is 10, but Jake is blind, and he memorized 2 of the songs today. When I was here this afternoon and heard the tuning, I could feel a chord inside of me, and I thought, I'm gonna get teary over orchestra tuning? Really? And then after the practice, I walked around, and there were a few other people feeling the same way I did. So I just want to ask Maestro Newman, I think in your original vision, it wasn't just about a musician or what you could do with the group, but there was a big picture of community, wasn't there?
Oh, that's the whole reason we're doing this. The reason for this is not to play this, perfect concert like the New York Philharmonic where everything's in tune and everything's whatever. The purpose of this was is exactly what's happening today. Having a whole bunch of people come and have a great deal of fun doing something quite historic for this entire region. And from all the people that have come to me so far, we're achieving that goal of just making this a totally fun community event through the vehicle of music.
So with that, let's hear 1,000. Let's add the beginners to the intermediates, to the advanced, to the spirit of all of you, and let's celebrate with Maestro Newman.
Well, let's celebrate with the Hallelujah Chorus, why don't we?
Okay, the Symphony of 1,000.
One, two, three, four. And we go now to the Can-Can by Jacques Offenbach. 1, 2. Bum, bum. One, two, 1, 2. The Aragonese from Carmen by Bizet. This one throws quite a bit of a challenge to some of the younger players because it's, while it's in 3/4 time, it's conducted in 1, so it goes by very quickly. So I told them, you know, if you want to just play the first note in every measure, that's fine. Or just play the first note and the last note of the piece, and that'll be fine too. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. One. Whoever did that is fired. We go now to the Radetzky March. And we told everybody, I told people we'd be out by 5:15, which indeed we will. Short, sweet, and to the point with this many players. What an incredible situation. So now we go to the Radetzky March. One, two.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear a few words from Maestro Newman, but before we get going, let's add a round of applause to our beginning instrumentalists.
Beautiful.
Just beautiful.
Bravo.
Did you notice how the sound was so lovely with the advanced and the intermediates? And when the beginners joined in, it just was like that, wasn't it? It just was all that. Bravo, bravo. One more time, bravo. Sean Bianco has been joking about the Symphony of 10,000. Did anybody hear that? And every time he says that, Maestro Newman gasps a little bit. And it might all be in fun, but I think what should be a given today is that this happened, and this can happen again. So if you believe in it and you loved it, you were a part of it, you witnessed it, let everybody know. Let the Youth Symphony know. Let everybody involved in music in our community know that you want it to come back, you want it to stay, because Symphony of 1000, we did it, we can do it again. Maestro Newman.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, before we play the final piece on today's programs, a few words from me. First of all, a very heartfelt thank you to all of you who are here today, players, listeners, sponsors, and supporters. On behalf of the Sacramento Youth Symphony, I want to thank our media sponsor, Capital Public Radio, and let's give a very nice round of applause to our wonderful MC from Capital Public Radio, Beth Ruyak. Thank you, Beth. And also to our event coordinator, radio show host, Sean Bianco, who put in countless hours to assist me in the coordination of this larger-than-life event. Sean Bianco, please, where are you? Let's please acknowledge our major sponsors who believed in my vision. Ming's Recycling, the Sacramento Bee, the Nilo Company, Capital Public Radio, and Rayleigh's, as well as the Morton Marcy Friedman Foundation and the Getz Mahoney family. Thank you for your support. So ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago, this event was but a dream that I had somewhere in the 4 o'clock area. I don't really know, but it was a dream that I had. And I feel so much gratitude to see this dream become a reality right here and right now. Please make a note that on Veterans Day, Tuesday, November 11th at 6 p.m., the premier orchestra of the Sacramento Youth Symphony will play a free concert honoring all of our veterans in the Community Center Theater just a few blocks from here. This will be a very patriotic concert which will include bagpipes and will conclude with the 1812 overture of Tchaikovsky's, for some of you would like to maybe come. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to make a contribution to the Sacramento Youth Symphony, there'll be some buckets on the outside. Feel free to leave $5 or $1 or $10. Anything over 100, please make out the check to the Michael Newman Hawaii Fund. Just kidding. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to conclude our program with the Ode to Joy from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, perhaps, in my opinion, the greatest symphony ever written in humankind. And I'd like to ask you, the audience, a favor. I would like to ask you, the audience, to participate in this finale by standing up and imagine that you are embracing all of those sitting down playing today. Because the essence of Beethoven's Ode to Joy is alle Menschen werden Brüder. All people are brothers. So let's conclude this concert all together with the audience standing, embracing all of the players here. And here is the Ode to Joy from Beethoven's Ninth. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of the orchestra, please stand up. Orchestra, all. You guys can turn around if you want and face them. Okay, sit down, please. Take a seat. I need to get through here.
I think you should come up here for a bow. Come up here. Ladies
you,
and
Beth.
gentlemen, Maestro Michael Newman. It's a quiet stage now, except for a little bit of movement. I'm Beth Ruyak. I'm sitting with Maestro Michael Newman.
Thank you, Beth.
What does the deep breath mean now?
Well, we just concluded this huge Symphony of 1,000. It was quite an amazing event. Thank you to a lot of people, such as yourself, who were involved in this. And, 2 years ago, this was a dream, and 2 years later, here it is, we've done it, and mission accomplished. And I think in a very nice way, so.
We mentioned during the show that that dream happened, sort of a lucid state at 4 a.m., but will you tell me more about that?
Well, what had happened was I'd been studying a score of the great Mahler, the Symphony Mahler, an Austrian composer who wrote a piece. He wrote several symphonies. His 8th symphony happened to be nicknamed Symphony of 1,000. The reason it was nicknamed that is because it required large forces to play it, an extended orchestra, a choir, a children's choir, soloists. So, maybe 200 people on the stage. But that was the nickname, Symphony of 1,000. And so the dream that I had after looking at that music was, wow, what could this mean? Symphony of 1,000, Symphony of 1,000. Why don't we get 1,000 players? Crazy idea, but nonetheless, that's what the dream was, and that was the spark that produced today.
You had to have known if you got everybody together, it would have to be for a performance, that you could never get that group together for rehearsals.
No, I think the whole purpose of this was to do a community-wide event that people could both participate in by playing and also come to watch it. And so that's why we did it here, where we could barely squeeze 1,000 players in. Originally, it was planned that it would be just out there, not involved, and I would be out there at the front of the stage. But boy, oh boy, we filled up, and we had to find where people could sit.
And oh, the sound. When you first heard this hall, this beautiful memorial auditorium filled with the music, maybe it was in rehearsal, maybe during a tune-up, did you have that?
It's rather overwhelming, actually, to get that volume of sound that just sort of permeates the whole building and resonates with the whole building. And I expected it, but I didn't know exactly what it would be until I didn't know how today would turn out. I mean, this was all an experiment, taking care of as many details as possible, but still there are some unknowns.
It was an experiment that happened mostly online because that's where musicians registered, they downloaded their music, they saw what the day would bring. But then today at noon, the doors opened and they started coming.
Well, yes, so the advanced group, we divided into the 3 groups, and Sean did a really magnificent job of detailing things to work the best. So instead of having everybody come at 12 and for the younger ones who don't play, they only played a third of the concert, to have them, the little ones, 7, 8 years old, sitting there throughout all of this rehearsal doing nothing didn't make sense. So
we had them tiny, down to
4
and
years
5.
old.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Well, and again, the purpose of this was not to play this highfalutin, perfect concert. It was to play a concert that people enjoyed being part of and the audience enjoyed listening to, and imperfections or not, that's not the purpose.
So much so that Sean, whom you're referring to, is a host at Capitol Public Radio.
Absolutely.
He's a music teacher, he's a performer, he's a vocalist. He wanted to play.
And he did, I believe.
He did.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Yeah. Tell me about the musicianship, because you've been directing the Youth Symphony since 1979, but you saw a range just like very little, 4 and 5 years old. They went up to 80 in
Yes.
such a scope of talent.
A scope of talent and a scope of age, and anyone was welcome. So you look at the music when you look at the website, and you say, "Oh God, that's too hard. There's no way." Oh, the intermediate music. Well, you know that. Oh, the easy music. I can do that. You download it, practice it. Come this day, boom, there we go.
And there's where it all connects in the I can do that.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
You believed it, and then it happened. Was there a moment as you were conducting where you just paused and stepped back?
Well, the challenge conducting something of this scope is the difference between what you hear up in the front here on the stage and what's a quarter mile down there. The lag time can be a whole second behind, and so like, who do I stay with? So then, you know, I'm beating time, and I hear some people with me, and some people are half a measure behind. Those are the challenges. But ultimately, it came down to asking people, listen for the core of what's going on, and stay with the core. So it means slowing down a little, or for the ones in the back, speeding up a little, trying to find that medium ground.
My position was about a third of the way back, and it was fun to see people in the back trying to help the musicians keep time. And everywhere, everybody was just trying to bring it together. It was amazing how it just gelled. The
It
sound
did
was
gel,
so
and I think
beautiful.
the reason it gelled is because people's heart were into wanting to do a great job. And that's how life works, I think. If you're into it, people get it. Energy never lies. If you're into you really want to do well. And if you don't care one way or the other, then you don't care one way or the other. Then this is not the place to be for this specific thing today.
The energy was a merge. You had 1,000 musicians, but there was an audience
There was
of
maybe
another
an-
1,800.
Yes. That's
So-
great. I mean, it's really great. And of course, the question now is, people are saying, I'm assuming you're doing this again. And I wouldn't assume anything at this point. We have to digest this and figure out, you know, because this is a major, major undertaking. And of course, the second time around, it would be easier, perhaps. A lot of the kinks have been worked out, but still, this is not, my goal is not just to become a normal thing. So I don't know, we'll see. We will
Well,
see.
then leave us with a thought about how the day matched the dream in whatever way that you want to describe it.
I'm overwhelmed and grateful. I have a lot of gratitude that it worked as well as it did, and the dream has come. This is not nightmares, this is good dreams. And so that's how I will leave this, and hopefully get a good night's sleep tonight.
Maestro Newman, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you
so
very,
much.
very much. Thank you.